I'm Kristen.
And I'm Maddie.
We're sisters and heavy readers.
Join us every single week to talk stories, interview authors, and collab with fellow book nerds.
Welcome to the Chris and Matt Show. Welcome back to the show, you guys. This is a really exciting one because today we are going to go over all of the books that Maddie and I read in the month of August. Between the two of us, we have 14 books to go over today because we both buddy read 4 books together, which we love to do.
It was great. I actually feel like 14 is plenty to get through today. I'm feeling a little bit of sweat coming on, actually. I have a lot to say about these books.
Well, before we get into it, Maddie has some quick reminders for you, so listen up.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so if you're listening to this in a place where you can follow us, okay, that follow button is basically like magical leprechaun juice. You click the follow button and we rank higher on book podcasts. You see how that works? And then the people who are looking for podcasts exactly like this will be able to find us. So go ahead and click that button if you like what you're hearing and you enjoy listening to the show every week, because other people might want to listen to it too. And if you're watching on YouTube, we want you to like and subscribe, obviously.
And leave a comment about how cute my pants are today. You guys see these striped babies?
Can they see them? Oh yeah, they're
on YouTube.
So cute.
You can see them. So let me know how much you like them. Okay, Maddie, I love that you went into some wackadoodle accent there. I don't know what that was, but
a leprechaun took over my body. Didn't you hear that?
We're just so happy to be making this video, guys. We had a very task businessy day, and then we were like, oh, I can't wait to sit down and do the podcast and just talk about books. So let's start with the peak reading of August. I think we should just start at the top because we actually had a lot of peaks, but we finished The Live Ship Traders with our Patreon book club by reading Mad Ship and Ship of Destiny, which are books 2 and 3 of the Live Ship Trader trilogy. And I cannot tell you how I felt that series inside of my body.
Same.
It lives within me now.
We have already spoken. I think we have about 4 hours of recorded material just on these 2 books on the Patreon. So we have already really gone into it. We've sobbed.
We sobbed on the videos.
Yes. All of that is on Patreon. But basically, for those who don't know, The Realm of the Elderlings, which is 16 books long, is comprised of 5 sub-series. And The Live Ship Traders is chronologically the second series. And oh my God, it is just, I think the whole 16-book series obviously is phenomenal. I absolutely love the last trilogy so much, but rereading Live Ship Traders with the group was a super emotional experience for me. It was so fun to go back through and see how much is woven in that comes to fruition later in the series. There's so many Easter eggs. There's a lot of foreshadowing. There's a lot of world building that I just couldn't even appreciate at the time. And I rated it infinity stars the first time I read it, but rereading it, I was just like, oh my God, it's all here.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you guys that they're perfect. I rated in every single category 5 stars. Characters, 5 stars. Setting, 5 stars. Themes, 5 stars. Emotional impact, 5 stars. Personal enjoyment, 5 stars. There's this part about Robin Hobb's writing where you feel like you're in it for this amazing plot because the plot's so good. But then she hits you with these emotional waves through her stories. And there's this perfect I don't know, peeling of an onion. I don't know a good analogy of it, but where it's so many things are revealed at the perfect time that you start feeling oh, this is how it's done. This is what perfect writing is.
Yeah.
It's a new standard for me. I said 5 stars, but infinity stars. I've never experienced a book where there's no slogs. It's consistent pacing. And every single time I picked it up, I felt like I was getting so much. I was getting so much lore. I was getting so much good character work. I was getting such fantasy adventure that makes my heart soar. Guys, the reveals and the things, the little Easter eggs, and you're like, oh, another solved mystery, but 3 more that are unsolved. It's just perfect.
Yeah. For those who are interested in picking it up, you can read the Live Ship Traders on its own. Like it's a standalone, self-contained trilogy within the wider realm of the Elderlings series. So you don't have to read all 16 books. If you do love this so much and love Robin Hobb's writing so much that you eventually do want to read the rest of the realm of the Elderlings, you would just go back to the Farseer trilogy, which chronologically happens first in this world. You would just go back to that one after you read Live Ship before you continue with all the rest of it. But you can read it on its own. You can start with it. It is about its own characters, and it has like a ending that is satisfying that wraps up the trilogy. So if you're interested in picking it up, our little, I guess, elevator pitch for it, besides the fact that we love it and we think it's transcendent and it's the best of the best, is that it is about a trader family on the high seas. They are ship traders, and so there are pirates in the world that they have to contend with. They have to trade between the two major cities they are between, and there are political strifes and coups and machinations going on between those two major cities. The slave trade is legal in some parts of the world and illegal in other parts of the world, so that comes into it as a major theme. And the main characters are a family called the Vestrets, and you get to follow the different members of this family on all of their adventures across time. So it is big, it's multi-POV, it's a little bit romantic, it's a lot swashbuckling adventure.
Oh, yeah.
It's got great themes. It tackles really complex subjects, and you've also got great political intrigue. And I would say like economics going on. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, like Kristen said, like mysterious lore.
Oh my gosh. At the very beginning of the book, I said, what is a tangle? What is going, there's serpents
There are
that are
serpent
characters.
Tangles. It's like a school of fish, but it's a tangle of
There
serpents.
are talking boats.
Yes, sentient ships.
Live ships.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like what more could you want? We both loved Pirates of the Caribbean growing up.
Yes.
We also loved Voyage of the Dawn Treader from like the Narnia series. We just kind of love like a ship and a crew. And this like was the best I've ever read.
So I would highly recommend, if you're going to read this in any kind of an atmospheric way, have the Pirates of the Caribbean soundtrack teed up for you.
Oh, for sure. I
It's
feel like we
great.
could literally spend hours and hours. I mean, we have just talking about that series, but
Well, it was peak because we did get to interview the author, Robin Hobb, while we were reading the series.
yeah, we met her at Worldcon. And
Oh
then
my
while we were
God.
there, we shot our shot and said, could we get an interview with you? And so we were in a room with Robin Hobb talking about these books. It was very fun.
So you can see that interview on our channel as well. I think it is maybe the last episode or the episode before this. But yeah, it was so amazing getting to meet the legend, the queen herself, and thank her for writing this incredible series and these beautiful characters for us. But yeah, that was probably the peak reading. But honestly, I've had a banger of a month. I mean, I don't think I rated anything below 4 stars.
For reals?
For reals, I think everything was high.
Okay, so give me one that I did not read with you.
Okay, let's talk about a new release. Let's do Bury Our Bones. Oh, wait, you did read that.
Yeah, Matt, I said literally one that we didn't read together.
They're all so good. Okay, how about Wild Dark Shore?
Okay, yeah, because I'm intrigued by this. Guys, it's pretty popular.
This is by Charlotte McConaghy, I think is how you say her name. McConaghy? I don't know how to pronounce her last name.
It's called Wild Dark Shore. Just Google it, guys.
Yes. Wild Dark Shore is kind of a situational, I would call it an environmental thriller. It kind of gave me the same vibes as Where the Crawdads Sing. But the premise is that there is a family, a father and his 3 children on this very remote island off of Antarctica, and they run the lighthouse. And this is a extremely remote and very like weather-beaten location, obviously, right off the coast of Antarctica. And there are basically banks of seeds being protected on the island in case of world disaster or climate disaster where like species of plants would go extinct. So there's all of these seeds being stored down in the by the ice so that it will like stay the right temperature. So this family's on this kind of creepy, very remote space and a body washes up on shore. And you're like, where would a body come from? Literally, like they are so far from any civilization. Like why is there a body? Where did it come from?
And that's towards the beginning.
Yes.
Okay. So the rest of the book is the unfolding.
So it's a double mystery. Yeah. I don't want to share much more. Yeah, I don't want to share much more because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, it's kind of a double mystery of like you, the reader, just don't understand what has happened on the island. Like, where are all the people? Why is it only this family left?
What?
But also, like, where did this body come from?
I feel like this could be spooky season. It
did kind of give spooky. What I didn't expect and why I don't want to give too much away is that it isn't just spooky. It gave me Adrienne Young vibes in the sense that Adrienne Young writes these thrillers that also have a lot of like heart and healing.
They're cozy thrillers. If that's a thing, I feel like they're cozy.
I wouldn't call them cozy.
Adrienne Young?
They're atmospheric. They're beautiful, but I wouldn't call them cozy. I feel like they're distressing and stressful.
All right. Well,
but they are also like romantic
Yeah.
and like emotionally healing. And so this gave those vibes as well. So I would say if you enjoyed Where the Crawdads Sing, if you've enjoyed Adrienne Young books, I think Wild Dark Shore would be up your alley.
Which means I need to add it to my never-ending TBR. What did you rate Wild Dark Shore?
I knew you were going to ask me this question.
Pull up the spreadsheet.
I gave it a 4-star.
Okay. That's very good. Especially for a standalone for you.
Yeah, I did not cry, and I didn't feel like the themes were like super original. It was more like themes of family and self-sacrifice and loyalty, which are beautiful themes, but like nothing crazy. So yeah, that's what pulled it down from a 5, but it was still so solid, so good. Love my time with it.
Let's just go with Powerless by Elsie Silver.
Wow.
Maddie didn't read this with me.
Sure did.
Surprise, surprise. I am in my cowgirl romance era. I'm just sprinkling these in. Powerless is book 3 in the Chestnut Spring series, which I believe is a 5-book series. They're not very long, guys. It's like nothing crazy. But book 3 was not my fave. Nothing wrong with it. I just liked the first 2 better. So I actually only rated this one 3 stars. What's really cool about Chestnut Springs and the reason why I didn't DNF it, because usually 3 stars is like I'm teetering on like, do I DNF or not? Why I liked it is because all of those books in Chestnut Springs are like interconnected. So you do kind of get still parts of the characters that you love from the first 2 books. Basically, Chestnut Springs, there's like Wishing Well Ranch where there's sons and there's a daughter and then there's a cousin that would come as a kid and then there's their dad. His name's Harvey. And they all just hung out as kids and ran amok. Well, now they're all adults and like it's all of their love stories. It's the kids' love stories. It's the cousins' love stories. It's like their adopted best friend's love story. And so you just kind of get lots of these characters throughout these books. So I love having more of that. I think it just wasn't my favorite type of love story. And this is going to sound really bad, but it reminded me of my love story, which I actually do love. But it was just like a bit like, it was nothing new. It was a lot of miscommunication, like a lot of it. And I was like, oh no, this feels very like juvenile to me, which sometimes love stories can be like that, right? But I have heard that this is some people's favorites. Also, I thought cowboy romance, this is going to be really summery. I need to read it in the summer. Guys, there's ice skates on the front. This is like the one of the 5 books that's actually in the winter because he's a hockey player.
Well,
so it wasn't really giving summer vibes. However, I would recommend the Chestnut Spring series to anybody who likes contemporary romance. Elsie Silver does a good job. Even this book, not like her writing was great. She is funny. It was just like she's trying to tell another type of love story, and it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, well.
So, I mean, you win some, you lose some. So I wanted to get that one kind of out of the way because that was probably like my lowest rated book of the month.
I literally have no low rated books this month. None.
Okay, well, like literally brag less.
I'm sorry. I've had low months, just not this one.
Oh my gosh.
My wheel did me very well this month.
Well, let's talk. Wheel book.
Well, no. I really want to talk about the Thursday Murder Club.
Okay, so Thursday Murder Club.
Oh my God.
Okay, the movie came out on Netflix this month. So we kind of lined up our book club with the release month so that we could do what we do in our book club, which is read and then watch adaptations.
Yeah.
Did not disappoint.
Did not disappoint. I loved it. I loved it so much. The thing is, I feel like the premise sets it up as something you're going to love, but then you go in and you're like, well, is it going to be anything more than that, though? You know what I mean? So the setup is you've got these friends who live in this retirement community in England, and they solve cold case murders like in their free time when they're not, puzzling and knitting and things. And you're like, this is adorable. This is going to be cute. But you get into it and you get that set up for you, and you're like, okay, are we going to get anything else? Like, is it just going to be this cute situational comedy, or are we going to, like, what's it going to be? And let me just tell you, it was so unpredictable for me. Every time I had a suspect, something else happened.
Yep.
It got so convoluted and twisty and turny, but then there were callbacks, and it's like, wait, this connects to that. Wait, what?
The creativity.
Oh my God. And I was like, I ended up on the edge of my seat. It was so unpredictable.
Yeah.
It was funny. And it actually surprisingly was super emotional and tender. I think because your characters are at the end of their lives. And so they're losing people. They're losing people suddenly. They're losing people slowly. They're kind of living with people who are going through transition. They're slowly losing agency. And what does that feel like? Even the agency to like drive yourself or be able to, have modern technology and know how to use it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So I think it actually had some very like potent themes, and it actually felt really relevant and tender. But overall, I walked away feeling so excited to get older. And just like feeling very honoring of this time of life that we don't see like glamorized that much in Hollywood or like in literature. And I just loved, we talk about like older FMCs or older MMCs. Like let's read about some 30, 40-year-olds. How about let's read about like some 70, 80-year-olds who are amazingly dynamic, beautiful characters whose like children are my parents' age.
Right.
It was so fun.
I do think too, going into it, like we didn't have super high expectations. It's not like we're like obsessed with whodunits, but we were sold that this was a comedy and a whodunit that was unpredictable. And that's the part where I say like it did not disappoint my expectations. I could have never in a million years predicted that ending. Like ever. Twist upon twist upon twist, which is just so fun for people like us who just like need something new and fresh to actually impress us. But the comedy and the cheekiness of these characters, I guess the 5th book is being written now, or maybe it's finished, but it hasn't been published yet. So there's like more of these to enjoy. They're a great length for a palate cleanser or where you're just in a mood where you want to blast through a series and fall in love with the characters. I really, really loved in the adaptation. They did take some liberties to make it the length of a movie, but I do think they portrayed the lifestyle so well. It's like I loved the two together. I loved the book on its own. I'm sure I would have liked the movie on its own, but together, what a great experience. I was left feeling just like cozy and in a happy light mood and like wow, there's so much great life ahead of me. Stop rushing so much, Kristen. Well, it was great.
And Netflix just did amazing with the overall tone and vibe and style of the story. Highly recommend for this season. Like it is definitely one to enjoy this fall. Yeah, so good.
Oh, what did you rate it? Because I did 4.5.
I also I gave it a 4.75. It was like literally nearly perfect. I think the only thing that pulled it
What did you put it down?
I guess because I gave it only a 4 for emotional impact and for characters because I feel like there's one character that I really need more from. But
Is it Abraham?
Yeah. I feel like in the series overall, the characters are going to be 5 stars for me. It's just there's a lot to tackle in a book 1, and I feel like some emphasis was placed more on some characters than others. And so I couldn't give it like a straight 5-star across the board for characters. And emotionally, it was like we were almost there. And again, I feel like in the series overall, I'm going to become so attached. And these characters are at the end of their lives that if we lose any of them, I will be a puddle on the floor. Like I will need help.
Yes.
So I think the series overall is probably going to be a 5-star series for me. But book 1, 4.75.
Patty from our Patreon said that if she had to rank them, and I trust her because she's read all of them, she said that her least favorite is book 1.
Oh.
So even though we loved book 1, I'm like, ooh, that makes me
it just
eager.
gets better.
Because you get more time with those characters.
Yeah, I think that's what would make it go like even deeper. Yeah.
It's hard to rate a series on a book 1 because they're setting you up. Right. So sometimes the setup doesn't hit the same as like the conclusion. Okay. So let's talk about some of our books that we did with our wheel because we're working through a physical TBR wheel. Guys, we are down to 13 books each and we are spinning a wheel once a week to try to just finish reading our whole physical TBRs by the end of 2025. I know we can do it. High five. I'm literally the momentum. Oh, it is under my skin now. I'm like, let's get it. So,
well, and they've just been bangers. So I'm like thanking my previous self for buying such awesome books.
Okay. Well, which one do you want to talk about next?
Well, I can talk about Breath of the Dragon.
I'm very curious. Yes. Fonda Lee and Shannon Lee.
Yep. Co-wrote this. So if you're familiar with the Greenbone saga, that's written by Fonda Lee. If you're familiar with some of the martial arts movies with Bruce Lee, Shannon Lee is Bruce Lee's daughter. So the rumor going around, I think this is a true story, is that Bruce Lee had a manuscript for this story, The Breath of the Dragon.
Crazy.
And had all of these notes and had done the world building and the characters. And so Shannon ended up taking her father's notes and manuscript and actually writing this. And so, and co-wrote it with Fonda Lee. And so what you are given, I think, is a young adult story that really doesn't have any of the negatives of young adult.
Oh.
It is a complicated and intricate and solid and sophisticated world and magic system. It is really great pacing and plot. It's really got strong themes. I think it's moving towards something really whole and complete. And it's a story that warrants more than one book. Sometimes I feel like young adult stories are being stretched to fill multiple books, whereas this one felt like all gas, if you know what I mean. Like they were fitting as much as they possibly could into it and it still needs more and you want more at the end. You're not like, oh, dang it. Why is this 2 books? So super strong. I thought it was really, really good. I was very invested. And I guess the overall plot of it is that the main character, Jun, is a twin, and he and his brother and mom and dad are raised in the East. The East and the West of the world are separated by a wall. In the East, they are more religious in their politics and kind of more into like sacrament and holiness, and they do not have any fighting. Whereas in the West, they really glorify and worship fighting. So in the very, very beginning of the book, a couple of the like priests, I would call them, come to their house and take Jun's twin brother to go be part of the temple because he is marked with the breath of the dragon, which are scales. And that means he has a proclivity for using certain magic. And so they're going to take him to the temple to become a priest in training, basically. And Jun is devastated and he's young and impulsive. And so he like freaks out as they're taking his brother and like goes into a fighting stance like he's going to like fight them.
Oh.
Which is like alarm bells going off because like you're not allowed to fight in the East. And they're like, who's training you? And of course he like accidentally looks at his dad. And so then they're like, the dad knows fight. Anyways, so Jun and his father get banished to the West and the family is torn apart. And that is where our story begins. So Jun basically sets off to learn martial arts to the best of his ability in the West so that he can compete in the big trial, which happens every 6 years, and the winner gets to protect the scroll of heaven for 6 years. There's a scroll of heaven and a scroll of earth. Heaven is in the West, Earth is in the East. And so he feels like if he can win this competition and become the guardian of the scroll, it will kind of like make his life mistakes worth it. You know, like there would be a reason why he ended up in the West, and there would be a reason that he learned to fight and that his family was torn apart if he ends up doing this important thing. And as someone who's not marked with the breath of the dragon, he kind of has an inferiority complex. So it's really, really good. It's got great tropes and structures. I think it feels really original, very tight writing. It's very sophisticated. I feel like really, I don't know even that like my niece Robin, who's like in middle school, like I don't know that she'd be ready for it. I definitely think it's more upper YA.
Yeah.
I think adults would really enjoy it.
Well,
I think
YA is a range. It's a range.
For sure. And I think it's really mostly YA because the main character is 16.
Sure.
But it reads older.
Oh, I love
and
this.
There's a little bit of romance. Like there's some complicated friendship dynamics. There's grief. It's adult themes, adult concepts.
Do you know, is this duology or trilogy? Have they announced?
I believe it is going to be a duology.
Okay. Oh, I love a duology.
I'm not 100% sure it won't be a trilogy, but I believe it is going to be a duology.
Okay. All right. Well, I love that. That one was on my TBR, not my physical, but on my TBR. Now I'm going to keep it on there.
It's so beautiful. The cover is stunning.
I love when Maddie speed dates books for me and then lets me know to keep them on or take them off.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's talk about The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley.
Oh, another one that's good for spooky season.
Another one. The whodunits that I have been reading this summer. It is unreal. I feel like I'm really creating my taste for it. This is my favorite Lucy Foley I have read yet. I did read her really popular one, The Guest List, and it was good. Don't get me wrong. But The Hunting Party just had something about it. So Lucy Foley's setting in this book is the Scottish Highlands.
Oh,
first of all,
less.
it is also winter. So the summer vibes weren't summering, but that's fine. But in this winter Scottish big home, like that's very remote, you can't even like walk to the nearest anything. There's a giant party taking place. So I like to think of it as if Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings was mixed with like a whodunit, that's what happened. So these are like all very, I don't know, hoity-toity, think a lot of themselves friends from back in the day in college, their prestigious school, coming together for a New Year's Eve party, okay? And they just rented out the space. So then there's also like the people working there, but it's like there's like 3 people working. But the beginning of Lucy Foley's books are so brilliant because instead of just trying to figure out who did the murder, you're trying to figure out who got murdered. Okay. So the book always starts like on a date. She'll put like a date at the top and it'll be like, we found a body. This is where it was. This is how this person felt about it. And you're like, what? You don't know who the body was. And then it will be like flashback to 3 days before New Year's Day. And it's like everybody arriving. So the whole time you're reading, you're like hearing about relationships. You're seeing all this toxicness. You're seeing, love, and people are doing backstories and flashbacks. It just makes for an incredibly fun experience for reading. I just loved how this one ended. When I was done, I thought immediately of our sister Grace, and I'm like, oh, she loves Magnolia Parks. She will eat this up. Absolutely haunting, a little bit creepy, but also at the end, couldn't have predicted it. It like crazy weird. Crazy weird.
We love this.
Yeah, Lucy Foley. Let's see. What did I rate this one? The Hunting Party. Oh, 4.25, which is very high for me for a whodunit. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that is high.
Yeah, usually like they have to be good. So I was in the mood. I need to stop reading about murder like in the summer though. Like what is going on?
Oh, we should talk about more murder right now. It is the time.
More? Which one else is murder?
I want to talk about Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil.
Yeah, Bury Our Bones.
Schwab.
There's a little bit of murder in this one.
We buddy read this one. It was just stunning, beautiful technical prose. I just think I feel bad sometimes for other authors because V.E. Schwab just
takes the cake.
There is something like exquisite in just the technicality of how she writes, how she crafts sentences, how she creates pacing, how her words show up on the page, because immediately, like from page 1, and then every time you pick it up, you're just like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. Page upon page upon page is just so beautiful, to the point that I think that she gets away with being like just average at like other storytelling things.
Now, hey, hold on a second.
Good. I think she's good at characters and setting and plot. I think she's good at all of them. But I don't think she even has to be, her plots don't have to be super original or unpredictable.
She's not leaning on gimmicks that I think other people maybe use to make their book popular.
Right.
She just has the best freaking writing, and then she can do whatever she wants with her writing.
Totally.
Her writing holds anything she wants.
Exactly. She could she could just write the most basic of the basic thing and it would still be beautiful to
Yeah.
read. And it's not even because it's super purple or super flowery. It's just like there's just something kind of next level about it.
Yes.
So that was lovely and like a breath of fresh air because I think nothing has scratched that itch for us since we read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Yeah, which I would still say is my favorite V.E. Schwab.
Same.
The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. But they're so wildly different. I guess they're so wildly different, but there's something about the two of them that feel nostalgic towards each other.
Yeah.
But this is I didn't know this when I opened the book, but this is actually like a vampire book. Okay. So when like the vampire situation came in, I said, oh, what's happening? Because I didn't read like the jacket. I didn't watch any reviews, which actually was super fun for me, but I guess everybody else knew.
Totally knew it was a vampire story going into
Everybody
it.
knew.
So
But what I really, really liked about this book that I almost got more of than in The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is you spend a lot of time in these different historic settings because this is a longer book. So you're following 3 POVs. It's 3 women. You span over 500 years in this book. And so you're getting origin stories for all 3 of them, which is sprinkled in. You're getting multiple love triangles, love stories, and you're also just understanding kind of like the psyche of what's happening when you can live a really long time. So I loved the way V.E. Schwab explored what happens to the soul and what happens to your humanity when you can just live so dang long. Like, what does that do to your soul? And the love, which is heavily dosed in this book, like there's a lot of romance, okay? I am not mad about it. It's like toxic, it's pining, it's yearning, but it's also sometimes like terrifying. This like lustful, kind of like vengeful love. I mean, V. Schwab just held no punches. She decided she was going to give us the full variety of relationships in this book. And I never, ever once picked it up being like, come on, let's get into it. I was like, oh, I'm with you. Like, I'll just hold your hand. I love this. I love this feeling.
yeah. I mean, it is a story about pain and not being able to escape it. But I think also it had some good, strong themes around whether love is really love if it's like consuming and possessive. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Hashtag toxic sometimes.
Also,
but
like vampires, like there's a metaphor for that. Like everybody in this story is literally sucking the life out of everybody else.
But I think you didn't feel the same way as me, but a couple of these romances, man, ooh.
I was not feeling them so much. Not because they weren't hot or whatever.
I've been having vampire dreams, Maddie.
Oh.
This book is in my dreams. V.E. Schwab, do you hear this? Your book has got me having some crazy dreams. I think that the biggest thing that people will either like or not like, so this is just a taste thing, is I really like love stories that are different than I've read before. And I have not read a lot of like Dracula vampire stories. I think I've read like 2 vampire stories in my life. Maddie, you've read like Silver Under Nightfall.
Yeah, I've done quite a bit of vampire romance in multimedia, so it doesn't feel
you watched,
super original. That's what I mean. Like
you
I
watched so much.
Yeah.
So vampires are so fascinating to me. So I mean, take that with what you want. But for me, it felt very fresh.
I think we both basically stamp of approval recommend it.
Oh, yeah.
It's great. I just don't think I would rate it like over The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I gave it 4.5 stars though. Like I think it's phenomenal.
Oh, delicious. Let me see. Barrier Bones. Oh, 4.5.
Yeah. Same.
It just didn't take me over the emotional hurdle that Invisible Life of Addie LaRue like thrust me over.
I like sobbed in The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Whereas in this one, I was kind of like evil cackling at the end. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I said, mic drop. I did see some people say that they wish that they had had more at the end. And I said, no, that ending was perfect.
Solid. Yep.
It was great. Okay. What else did we read together? Silver Cloak, our friend L.K. Stephen.
Yeah.
And this is another newer one. We read lots of like we've been
releases.
reading those new.
Yeah, so Silver Cloak is an adult fantasy romance debut by Laura Stephen, but she has written a lot in the YA space. So Kristen really loves her book, Our Infinite Fates. And so we were very excited to like get our hands on her adult debut. And Silver Cloak is essentially the story of a young mage who is part of the like detective faction of mages. And she has to go undercover to infiltrate like a savage mage gang, essentially. And it was great fun.
Yeah, it was one of those books that like I mostly distrusted Laura. I was like, I'm going to read your work because I loved our Infinite Fates, but it was wildly different. But if you do like a really kind of like interesting characters, fun magic system, a little bit of that, I think like it's kind of gritty, right? Like
It
the
definitely
gangs,
was.
the things that I was envisioning in my brain were actually different than Maddie's. We were like talking about discussing the setting and she was like, did they ever say that was the setting? I'm like, I don't know. That's what I put in my brain.
So the setting is interesting because it is because it's a magical setting and it's not our world. It's giving urban to some extent, and yet like you never hear about cars. There's no technology,
But you don't hear about carriages either,
right?
because they're just kind of walking around.
So like trying to set it in a space and time for us, I think was a little bit like left to the reader's imagination. But like it's not like there is a king. There is like it does seem like there's still like some kind of a feudal system going on, at least a little bit, and like the shipments of illegal substances are being coming and going via ship.
But there's gambling halls, and it's like I don't
Sure,
know. It
yeah.
was I don't
And
know
the
if you ever watched
women are
Carnival
wearing
Row, but I like
Pants. So yeah, I don't know. It was it was kind of like a choose your own adventure as far as the setting went, but I kind of love that. I gave the setting 5 stars because of the magic system. The magic system is really thematically interesting. It's very creative. It's open-ended, which I like. It's soft enough to really play to the themes, but it's hard enough to have some cool rules that play into the plot. And I think there's like more to discover. I think it's kind of one of those things where like the magic is as old as the world. So things have been lost to time. Things have gone out of fashion. Things have become taboo, but maybe they're still lurking under the surface. They could be rediscovered. And so that is really, really cool. And it's a wand magic system, which is just kind of fun. If you have any nostalgia around wand magic from your childhood, like you're bringing it all back for this. I thought the romance was great. It wasn't cringy. It also was balanced well with the rest of the plot. And for me, fantasy romance has become so rinse and repeat predictable at this point that it's really hard for me to have a good time with it. And I had a great time with this. I rated it 4.5.
I rated it 4.5 as well. And like my only gripe was that like I wish I had the full trilogy that I could read right now, because I feel like I was so ready to get more from our like side characters. I was so ready to get more of the story. It was like enough of a cliffhanger that I was like, But I just know that next book's going to come out quick. Laura is a quick writer. She's a thoughtful writer. It's going to be good. Like it's going to be great.
Her writing style is very different than like a V.E. Schwab. I think that you can tell that Laura has written YA and she knows how to get to the point, keep her reader hooked, move fast paced, maybe more so than other adult epic fantasy writers. She also is so direct. I think she's a little bit more used to having to like pull her reader along with her a little bit. So I think there was some hand holding that wasn't really necessary. Some like tell don't show that was like she won't actually need to keep doing that the more she writes adult books, because the adult readers don't need it as much as young adult readers do. But it didn't pull me out of the story. I mean, you can tell she's very tight. She's very skilled at her craft. And if anything, it's just like a tone shift that I think she's going to have a lot of fun when she doesn't have to do it as much, the more adult stuff that she writes.
Yeah, I'm just ready for book 2.
Same.
I'm going to try to be patient about it.
Well, what was one of your other wheel books?
So this was not on my wheel, but it was on my physical TBR. So I was doing the wheel, but then anytime I had extra time, which wasn't a lot, I was just reading another book on my physical TBR. And I have the Bridgerton series on there, and I was up to book 4, which is romancing Mr. Bridgerton.
Oh, this is Penelope's story?
Yes. So
Oh,
in the
yes.
Bridgerton books, kind of like, I feel so bad because I feel like I read my least favorite Bridgerton and I read my least favorite Chestnut Springs book, but they weren't bad. But I was like, well, come on now. Like,
It's so
come on
funny
now.
because I feel like you usually love a friends to lovers, and both of those are friends to lovers.
Yes, that is very
Usually
bizarre.
you love that.
Maybe I've read too much of it. But in this story, like if you like the Bridgerton show, it's really fun to have the book with it. But I almost think I prefer the show over the books. When I do them both together, I get more excited for both. But I
Yeah.
don't think if I had just picked up the Bridgerton books on their own, I just think Jane Austen is a little bit more to my taste for this like era than this cheeky, but I love seeing it on the screen. So yeah, this one is with Penelope, and this whole series is so fun because again, it's about a family, the Bridgerton family, and all of their individual love stories. And so I like just being like with the family, and I
Yeah.
like hearing about what the ones that have now been in relationships, what they're doing as you're on to the next person. So I'll probably read book 5 in the next month or so because they're not super long. I don't like hate them. They're just, this one was giving 3 stars. It was like, I'm glad I read it, but I don't think I would recommend it or be like, of all the Bridgerton books, this is the one. So that was book 4, and there's 8. So I'll keep you guys posted on like my ranking. I think I want to finish all of them to do a ranking order for you guys to
That
let
would
you
be
know
fun.
like my favorite to least favorite and all that.
Yeah, I'm very curious what. Well, I've heard I'll be disappointed, but Eloise is my favorite character in the show.
She's
and
so
I
cool.
really want to see her love story. When they announced that Benedict was going to get the next season, I was like, okay.
Okay, but actually Benedict's
I know it could be great, but
fire.
I know. Well, you already read his.
It was my favorite one.
Oh, okay. So I might.
It was
love
my favorite.
and I've heard Eloise's isn't that great. But see, like, I don't know. Like, if I hadn't heard that, I would be most excited for hers because she's my favorite.
Well, they don't
character.
follow, like the show has not followed things
Right,
perfectly. So they
right.
might take some liberties
I
with
hope
Eloise.
so.
And so I'll just like read them and then I'll let you know as we're watching the show together,
Okay.
like where it goes apart. What were your other wheel books?
I've only read the first Bridgerton book, The Duke and I.
Oh, yeah, which wasn't bad, but like I don't think it's the best one. That season of the show though, fire.
Fire. Okay. Well, I'm going to save my very best wheel book for last because other than the Realm of the Elderlings, the Live Ship Traders books we read, it was my favorite. But I'll talk about A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. And this was such a lovely book. My God, just lovely. I would say it's a very slow paced book without a lot of plot development. So you're really mostly reading it, I think, to feel the plight of the main character and to allow him to represent the identity and existential crisis of his country, Russia, during the 20th century. So I think, I mean, this book takes place over a long amount of time. It takes place from like the 1920s, I think, to like the 1960s. And so it's like, it's through all of World War II. And the main character is a Russian aristocrat. And so he is put under house arrest in a hotel in Moscow in the 20s. And it's for life, basically, because of what happened in Russia during that time is there was a civil war against the like the rulers and against the ruling class and against the aristocracy, and there was this rise in communism, so they really wanted to do away with wealth. And so basically for the crime of being wealthy, they were imprisoning their formerly wealthy citizens. And so the main character is put under house arrest in this hotel, and it's just about his life in the hotel. So the situational tension is enough to keep you reading because it's such a fascinating concept that this could happen to him, and like who comes to visit him and how he's treated and how his world becomes so narrowed down to this small community that's inside the hotel, and how he finds purpose. You know, like how does your life find purpose when you're isolated in this way? And it's not quite prison, but it's, you know, it's just so interesting. And it was really tender and it was beautifully told. And I think because he's an aristocrat, one of the things that really struck me is how he was trained in all of these arts and cultures as a young man. And so he describes like in his inner monologue, he'll be speaking to someone and he's like trying to flip through like the Rolodex in his brain of all of the books he's read and the news articles he's read and the people he's talked to, that to find something that would be of interest to this person, because the art of conversation is like having good conversation topics to interest the other person. And I'm like, wow, what a lost art. And and so he reads like almost with this motivation of like, I read all different things, maybe that even aren't quite to my interest, but because I want to have an informed mind about interesting topics I could speak about to other people who are interested in different things than me. And the way he sets up a table and like the art of table placements, like who sits with who where to make for like the best evening for everyone, like who's going to be good people to connect and who's going to be good people to keep apart, and like how do you plan the menus to everyone's taste, and how do you plan a menu that lasts for a whole evening that's like a whole experience in itself. Like these are things that they're just lost arts of the aristocrats, of the aristocracy, but it was like delicious to read. It was just like, I could almost like taste the food and like visualize everything. But it's really tender too. And there's all these like secret ways and hidden passageways in the hotel that he finds.
I love that.
Like hidden doors and things. And he ends up finding purpose, and the end is like remarkably satisfying and cool. So.
I wonder, Maddie, here's a little question for you. If you had to be on house arrest anywhere, what kind of a house, what kind of a situation would it be? Would it be a hotel?
I would want to be on house arrest at Cooper's Chase from Thursday Murder Club.
Oh, Maddie, that's so good. That's a great answer.
Thank you.
I was thinking like the same vein that I would want it to be in like a really old giant home.
Yeah.
In England somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just be at Cooper's Chase.
We'll just go to Cooper's
There's
Chase.
puzzle rooms for gosh sake.
Exactly.
I'm like, put me on house arrest.
It's
like,
basically the closest thing in our world to Hobbiton. It would be good.
The doors aren't circles, Maddie. Okay, what are some other ones you read? Because I only have a couple left.
I only have one left, so you go.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to talk to you guys about The Spellshop by Sarah Beth Durst. This is a cozy fantasy. I have been dipping my toes into the genre over the last year. My favorite so far has been Travis Baldry's books, which is Bookshops and Bone Dusts and Legends and Lattes. I said them out of order.
Yeah, Legends and Lattes is first.
And Bookshops and Bone Dust. But I also really loved House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I just think that this one is, yes, cozy, but I didn't quite like the character work as much as I did in the other ones. So in this book, the best character is a spider plant.
Oh, well.
Because in cozy fantasies, you get those, right? You get to have like really fun, unique
objects.
Yes. However, It was good. It was good. But the whole like plot, which there's always a plot in cozy fantasies, it was just a little less fun to me. So in the spell shop, there's a librarian and her spider plant who are in charge of taking care of all the spell books for the kingdom. And then the kingdom is being attacked and everything is catching on fire. And they flee the library with as many spell books as they can carry. And they decide to go to the place where she was raised. And magic is illegal there. So the spell books are like hidden, right? And while she is there, she wants to help the community. I love this about cozy fantasy, that it's always about like what little thing can you do to make your community better? Like it's adorable. And she realizes that they need jam, but she uses magical spells to create more fruit so that she can do jam. And she's kind of like an undercover spell shop girly. And there's a nice little romance. It was very soft. I do think though, when you're reading things like Robin Hobb, or you're reading like murder mysteries, so really fast and punchy or just really like epic, it was kind of hard to have it sandwiched in this month. So I think this might be a good read for somebody in the in the spring or the summer who is really in a mood to just like bliss out and have to do zero brain work, because it's very atmospheric as cozy fantasy is. There's a second book out, The Enchanted forest, maybe. It's The Enchanted Something. It's book 2, and I'm keeping it on my TBR because I thought the writing was good.
Love it.
But it was 3 stars.
Okay, well.
Not me having 3 stars.
Oh.
What the heck?
How many do you have left?
I think that was my last one.
Oh, I think I have my last one now.
Yeah, get it, Queen.
Okay, well, we have to talk about Wellness by Nathan Hill. I rated this baby 5 stars.
Yeah, she said she didn't want to read it.
I didn't want to read it, but it was phenomenal.
Yay.
It was a phenomenal story. And I feel like I've talked about it quite a bit, but maybe that was just to the Patreon?
Yeah, I think we talked about it a lot to Patreon because
Okay.
there are peeps.
Okay, well, for those of you who haven't heard me wax poetic about Wellness, here's my elevator pitch. Wellness is a story that is funny and punchy and witty, but it will confront you if you are a millennial.
Okay.
If you are a person who loves to track your steps, loves to track your macros, loves to count how many books you read a year, likes to read parenting books or relationship books or consult the stars or your horoscope for anything. If you have ever watched a life hack video,
No.
if you have ever read a self-help book, if you're one of those people who is always pursuing something better, to live a better life, to be better, to do better, and you're at all overwhelmed or feeling like the pursuit of being better is kind of a
Taking
fallacy.
over?
Yeah. If you've ever felt just like completely overwhelmed and like it's unachievable and like there's always another thing, and potentially if you're sensitive to the fact that marketing it literally exists to make you feel less than and to constantly offer you a solution to problems you didn't even know you had, but now you know, so now you need a thing. I think this book might be for you. It is so relevant and funny. Did I mention I laughed so hard? I think that it just is such a gently savage way to tell you
Gently
that
savage?
it just might be self-sabotaging. The pursuit of wellness might be making you unwell.
Whoa.
And for someone like me, I was just like, my God, like someone is reading my mail.
I'm the problem, it's me.
For real. But it wasn't like, I didn't feel crappy about it. I was just kind of laughing. I was like, oh my God, it's me. But
Oh my gosh.
I don't think it's cynical. And that's why I gave it such a high rating. At the end, I walked away feeling like there was an alternate way to think about things and a hopeful way to think about things. And I don't want to spoil anything. But it felt gentle and profound to just think, oh, wow, this pursuit of certainty. I'm not pursuing wellness. I'm pursuing certainty. I'm pursuing a way to measure everything and to measure myself against other people and to make sure that I don't get left behind and I don't, not fulfill my potential or whatever. Or if I'm feeling any kind of human one day, like we do, any kind of like not perfect, that doesn't mean there's something to hack or to fix. It just is part of being a human being. And so these are things that seem so obvious, but I'm telling you, like, if it was so obvious, then why are all of these products so successful and all of these markets so successful at selling us solutions to problems that we didn't even know we had 15 years ago? That's all I'm going to say. So 5 stars.
Oh my gosh. Everybody says add to cart. I'm so excited to read this book. I have to be picky and choosy, but the more I hear you talk about it, because you really can't stop talking about it since you read it, which says a lot. I'm just like,
I think
who is this book not for?
Well, here's what I'll say. I think that you have to be in the mood to receive it. I will say that.
Open and ready to receive.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're in a defensive place, or if it really just doesn't feel relevant to you at all, if you've never been the type to wear a Fitbit or, check the health app on your phone, or if you've never ever in your life graded yourself on anything, then maybe this book won't resonate for you. But I'm sure you know someone who does. So
yeah.
But it's also a story about two people in a relationship 20 years in and how they've lost each other. And I think that can be really relevant, whether that's for you or for someone you know.
Yeah.
And that I think it's a story about how when you lose yourself, you lose your people too. And so it behooves us to not lose ourselves because you don't want to lose your people.
It does behoove us.
Behoove.
It's one of my favorite words.
What a fascinating word. Well, thank you guys so much for sticking around with us for August's recap. I had a phenomenal month. It was so fun to talk about every single one of these books with you guys. And I hope that you guys got at least one good recommendation, something to add to your TBR that sounded really good that maybe you haven't picked up yet.
Oh, yeah. I expect that at every one of these videos. You guys just listen to a scab and maybe find one rec
That's
that
our
really
goal.
like resonates with you.
We read around 10 books a month so that you can pick one or two that are like, boom, this is the one for me.
Well, and some of them, they might not even be for now, but later on they'll be the perfect book and you'll remember. Chris and Mads talked about that. We love making these videos for you guys, but it really does help us, motivate us, get us excited when you guys interact with us. So go ahead in the comments, let us know what your best book of August was. We're also always building our TBRs, so when we hear about your best, it helps us make sure that we're only reading the good. Have a great month of reading in September. I think that we're going into my favorite reading season. It's
Same.
Hoa season.
Spooky season.
And stay tuned because we're going to have a list coming out for you guys of our favorite fall reads that we've read. So stick around for that.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.